What if the devil did not arrive with fire or horns or threats, but instead wore a tailored suit, spoke calmly, smiled confidently, and never forced anyone to do anything wrong? What if all he did was give people exactly what they wanted most? This is the story of a man who never lost a case, not because he was always right, but because losing was never an option. And the moment he finally faced defeat was the moment he learned who he had truly been working for. This is the story of Kevin Lomax. Kevin Lomax is a defense lawyer in a small town in Florida, and his reputation is unsettling because he has never lost a single case. Kevin believes everyone deserves a defense no matter how guilty they are, and he has built his career on twisting truth without breaking the law. One day, Kevin is assigned a disturbing case involving a schoolteacher accused of abusing a minor. The evidence is overwhelming, and Kevin knows the man is guilty. But instead of walking away, Kevin chooses to fight harder. He attacks the victim's credibility, manipulates the jury, and dismantles the prosecution until the jury delivers a not guilty verdict. Kevin wins again, but this victory feels wrong. As the courtroom empties, Kevin notices a strange man watching him from the back, calm, confident, smiling like he already knew the outcome. That night, Kevin celebrates with his wife Mary Ann, who tries to be proud but is deeply unsettled. Soon after, Kevin receives an offer from a powerful New York law firm. The money is insane, the clients are elite, and the firm's owner John Milton seems to know Kevin better than Kevin knows himself. Milton praises Kevin's talent and ambition and offers him a life beyond anything he imagined. Despite a strange feeling, Kevin accepts and moves to New York with Mary Ann. The city overwhelms them immediately. The firm is massive and luxurious. Kevin begins winning major cases for powerful, guilty clients. Each victory feeds his ego while Mary Ann begins to feel isolated, watched, and afraid. But Kevin is too consumed by success to notice, and Milton watches quietly as everything unfolds. Kevin's success accelerates in New York. Every case brings more money, more respect, and more power. He defends criminals who should never walk free and wins by destroying witnesses and bending truth. The firm celebrates him as a star while Milton subtly guides his choices, feeding his pride and ambition, telling him guilt is weakness and power is proof. Meanwhile, Mary Ann's mental state collapses. She sees horrifying visions. Women's faces twist into demonic forms. Whispers follow her through the apartment. She feels trapped in a city that does not want her. She begs Kevin to leave New York, but Kevin dismisses her fear as stress, believing success will fix everything. Mary Ann's isolation deepens as Kevin becomes more aggressive, impatient, and arrogant. He values winning above all else and loses empathy for everyone around him. Mary Ann attempts suicide and is hospitalized. Yet even then, Kevin chooses work over staying with her. Milton reassures Kevin that sacrifice is necessary for greatness. Slowly, Kevin begins to sense something is wrong. Every moral compromise is rewarded, and every warning comes too late. But by the time he realizes he may be trapped, it already feels impossible to escape. Mary Ann's condition worsens after leaving the hospital, and she becomes convinced something evil surrounds them. She directly accuses Milton and calls him the source of the darkness. Shortly after she takes her own life, Kevin is destroyed by grief and guilt. He confronts Milton demanding the truth, and Milton finally reveals who he is, Satan himself, and Kevin is his son, born of a human woman and groomed through ambition and pride. Milton explains that Kevin's entire life was preparation. Every victory proved he was ready. Milton argues that God abandons humanity while he gives people freedom to choose. Kevin is tempted by the offer of power and leadership over a world ruled by desire. But at the final moment, Kevin rejects Milton and kills himself to end the game. Kevin wakes up back in the past at the Florida courtroom where it all began. This time he refuses to defend the guilty man and walks away, believing he has broken the cycle. Reporters praise him for his moral stand, and a journalist approaches him offering fame and recognition. The journalist reveals himself as Milton once again, reminding Kevin that pride is the devil's favorite sin, and the game is never truly over. Kevin Lomax stands in the Florida courtroom again as if nothing ever happened, the same case, the same evidence, the same guilty man sitting beside him. But Kevin is no longer the same person. He remembers the pain, the loss, the cost of pride. And for the first time in his career, Kevin chooses truth over victory. He withdraws from the case and refuses to defend the schoolteacher. The courtroom erupts. The judge is stunned, and the prosecution proceeds unchallenged. Justice is finally served. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarm Kevin, praising him for his integrity, calling him a hero, asking him how it feels to finally do the right thing. Kevin feels relief, believing he has escaped the devil's game and broken the cycle forever. But temptation does not disappear, it only changes form. A confident journalist approaches Kevin, flattering him, praising his courage, promising fame, influence, and recognition. And slowly Kevin realizes the voice, the smile, the presence. It is John Milton again, reminding Kevin that pride is still alive, that ego never dies, that the devil does not need contracts or rituals, only opportunity. And as Kevin smiles slightly at the attention, the game quietly begins again. The true horror of the story is not demons or hellfire, but the realization that evil never forces its way in. It waits patiently for permission. John Milton explains that free will is humanity's greatest weakness, because people choose selfishness willingly and call it ambition. Kevin's entire journey proves this truth. No one made him lie, no one forced him to abandon his wife, no one compelled him to value winning over compassion. Every step was his choice. Milton simply removed the obstacles and rewarded the behavior. The devil did not create Kevin Lomax. He revealed him. And even in the final moment when Kevin believes he has won, pride creeps back in through applause and admiration, showing that temptation never ends. It only evolves. The film closes not with a scream or explosion, but with a smile, a subtle reminder that evil survives through vanity, success, and unchecked ambition. And that the most dangerous lies are the ones people tell themselves about who they are and what they deserve. Devil's Advocate is not just a story about Satan, but a warning about human nature. It argues that evil thrives not in darkness, but in comfort, power, and self-importance. Kevin Lomax represents anyone who believes talent excuses cruelty, ambition excuses neglect, and success excuses morality. John Milton represents temptation itself. Charming, logical, persuasive, never demanding obedience, only offering opportunity. The film asks a simple but terrifying question. If given everything you wanted with no immediate consequences, would you stop yourself? Or would you justify it? The final message is clear. The devil's greatest trick is not convincing people he exists, but convincing them they are always right.